This time on Rad Rat Video, we are reviewing Skate City on PC. Let's do it. Welcome back to Rad Rat Video, a channel about skateboarding in all of its forms, including video game form. I'm very excited to be able to review Skate City today. There are two reasons why I'm excited about it. First, it is the sequel to a game called Skate Lines that I thought was really good. I made a review for it back in 2016. It's not up on the channel. I'm not sure what happened to it. I have the final version on my computer, but I must have taken it down for some reason. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But it was good, and I'm excited to see where they went with the sequel. Second reason is because I actually helped with this game in some small way. Back in 2018, the team reached out to me and they said, hey, we could use some help with the trick names. So we're going to ask you, if you combine this trick and this trick, what is it called? And in this stance, this direction, this flip, what is it all called? And I came up with this big table, like an Excel spreadsheet of what all the combinations should be called. And I sent that off to them. And the game released exclusively for Apple Arcade. I don't have any Apple devices, so I never got a chance to play it, and I'm finally able to do so. So the trick names should be really good. They're not perfect. We'll talk about that in a second. But what is this game? Skate City is basically like an endless runner type game. We are constantly going right in either Los Angeles, Oslo, or Barcelona. And you can do tricks. You can complete challenges. There are races where you're getting chased by cops. You can do lines. You can do all kinds of stuff. Let's get into it. The controls are really simple. You dial a trick by pointing the left stick in one of 8 directions and then you let go. You can do 360 flips, heel flips, shove-its, other basic tricks. Doing the same thing with the right stick will do tricks in nollie. Tap the triggers for manuals or nose grinds or a 5-0 on a ledge. Holding the triggers will do different grinds, and tapping or holding the bumpers will do even more grinds, and you can spin by tapping the bumpers. Once you get used to it, it feels really fluid. In my time with the game, I didn't get to a point where I could do any trick on command without thinking about it, but it was close. With a few more hours, I'd probably get pretty good at it. I did run out of things to do in that time though. When you start the game, it puts you through a short tutorial. It's not very thorough, but you'll be able to fill in the missing pieces without too much trouble, especially if you skate and you recognize trick names and stuff like that. Now let's talk about the trick names. It doesn't seem like it'd be all that complicated. You can only do 8 tricks per stance and one is just an ollie, so how hard could it be? Well, they wanted to make all the combinations make sense. So what's it called if you do a 360 flip and a backside 180? Well, that's a bigger spin flip. How about a 360 flip with a frontside 180, like a varial flip body varial? I always called those twisted flips, and they put that in the game. Except for fakie, which they call backside half cab 360 flips. Yeah, half cabs are backward, and nollie backside shove-its are called frontside. But aside from that, they did a really good job. Nollie hard flip 180s are called ghetto birds, like the traditional Cream Campbell version. Gazelles are called gazelles in every stance and direction. Backside 180 kickflips are called switched frontside big spin flip backside 180? What? This one was a glitch, I think. The game seems to have a tough time with backside flips. It thought this one was a backside heel flip body varial? I don't know. There are a couple glitches besides names too, like landing sideways sometimes. So what do you even do in the game? There are a couple of options. First, you have the free skate mode. It just lets you loose in the city, which loops forever, just casually skated, or do some of the challenge checklist. On the pause screen, there's a list of things to do. Some of them are simple tricks or tricks in different areas of the map, maybe even over specific obstacles, and I like this. The game is fun enough to just cruise around and throw your own combos, but if I'm trying to remember that I have to switch flip switch Manny the courthouse on my next pass, it gives me a little bit to think about as I'm playing. Free skate mode also gives you the opportunity to record. You can hold down on the D-pad to get the camera running, do your best line, and then sell it to sponsors. It's a little tough to figure out what the sponsors like, though. I did clips that were too short, did some that were too long, and then finally I did get a 5-star clip. But I think this inclusion is important. You unlock new things with skate cred, but it's possible to complete the first level, buy a ton of tricks and stats and clothes, and end up not being able to afford the next level. So this gives you a way to grind cash if you got yourself stuck. Luckily that didn't happen to me, but it was for a bad reason. I didn't realize you could actually buy things until much later in the game. And the reason I didn't know is because the game glitched out really bad on me the second time I tried to play it. No matter what I selected in the menu, it would start up Los Angeles. I'm trying to buy Oslo here and it just doesn't care. The controls for the keyboard are on screen here, but the pause button on the controller and the escape button on the keyboard won't do anything. I had to Alt F4 out of the game. Even trying to click it with my mouse didn't work. Look at this. I restarted the game a few times, restarted Steam, but the problem didn't go away until I restarted my computer. But anyway, I couldn't get into the skate shop at first, and so I forgot about it. The challenges have a decent amount of variety considering the game is pretty simple. There are a couple of race types, one against a skater, one against a cop on foot who jumps over everything. I hate him, but I've got to appreciate his gumption. You have to win the race and get a high score while you're at it. The skater can pass you, you can pass him back, but if the cop gets within range of you, he hits you with his club. #topical. In one of the more unique challenge types, you have to get a high score while avoiding pedestrians. You grind automatically if you ollie near a ledge, and you can pop out by hitting the B button. So you time that out to make sure you never run into people. It's tougher than it sounds. Okay, gap over you. Can I land in manual? I can. Let's pop out into the grind. Pop. Oh, come on. My favorite challenges are the lines. These are glowing circles on the ground and a trick control in the air that you have to do. It feels the most like real skating that you can do in the game. A similar one is when you have a list of tricks to do and you can do them anywhere you want. On paper, it sounds fine, but I ended up doing a couple where I had to do a grind and all I could find was manual pads at that point in the level. It's like it was planned out by the developers to work, but you don't know exactly where it's supposed to work. You can get yourself stuck like that. Kind of annoying, but not that big of a deal. The checklist challenges are pretty cool. It'll be something like link 2 grinds with a manual, and you have to do it 3 times and then on to the next trick type. And this is where I figured out you could buy stats. The game wanted me to do 540s, and I couldn't. I had enough skate cred at this point to max out everything at once, which is definitely not what they intended. But it helped because the game was getting crazy hard at this point. Imagine doing the races with the lowest possible speed stat. And before you finish typing that comment, I'm not going to do a 0 stat run of this game. It's not actually possible. In addition to buying stats, you can also buy special tricks. If you hold one of the bumpers while dialing in your trick, it will be from a different list, which has inward heel flips, impossibles, Benihana, stuff like that. They're all real tricks, nothing crazy, but it's a good way to fit more tricks into the control scheme without overwhelming you right from the beginning. At the end of each level, there's a really high score you have to get through. At this point, it's worth figuring out how the scoring actually works. When you do a trick, you get extra points for distance, so having speed is a good way to go. Spamming stationary flips to manual isn't going to cut it. The highest multiplier you can get is 4. When you land in a grind or manual, you see this timer fill up. So a good strategy is to get up to 4 by doing the bare minimum grind or manual to fill up that meter. Flip into a grind, hold it till you get the 2x. Flip into another grind, hold it for 3x. Flip into a manual, hold that until you get 4x, and then flip out. It sounds simple, but there's some complication to it. Landing into manual slows you down a bit, and makes it a lot harder to clear a gap. There are definitely times when being in a manual is the wrong move, so it can take some strategy and familiarity with the level to get those higher scores. Next thing you know, you'll be finishing up Barcelona and realizing there's nothing after it. I didn't 100% the game, but I got reasonably close, and it took about 3 hours total. I played another hour just farting around for fun, but the challenges I have left over are kind of a pain. Like do 3 laps without bailing, it's like 15 minutes, and I almost got it too, except I bailed on this extra high ollie that I can't clear every time. It was about 30 feet from the finish line too. I actually tried this a few times because I wanted to get the Steam achievement, but I bail on this gap pretty much every time. It just doesn't seem to work right. I also have to manual 3,000 meters, which is tedious, and do a crooked grind kiss the rail. I did some extremely short crooks, none of them counted, but that's fine. I got my money's worth out of it, which is easy to do when they gave me the code for free. So how about you? Is it worth it to buy a game that you can finish in 3 or 4 hours or 100% in 5 or 6 maybe? It depends. For me, it depends on what platform you have it on. For me, I have it on PC. So if I'm at work and I'm waiting for an email or I've got 5 minutes to kill for some reason, I'm waiting for my lunch to microwave, something like that, I can play for a couple minutes, I can get back out, and it's fine. Got some time to throw a line together or maybe try to do one of those challenges, see if I can do a full lap, that type of thing. But if I bought it on Xbox, and I'm going to go down in the basement with my family-sized bag of Cheetos and my 6-pack of Mountain Dew, and, I'm not going to sink a lot of time into playing the game at once. If you have it on Switch, if you can play it for a couple minutes here and there, I think it's a really good game to play. And for me, I'm really excited and happy about it because it's just part of this new wave of skateboarding games that are actually good. And I'm always happy to see more, and I'm always happy to support them. So that's it for now. If you like the game, you can check it out on multiple platforms. If you like the video, you can hit the like button, you can subscribe, you can support the channel through Patreon or hitting the join button here on YouTube and getting some emojis and other perks that way. So that's it for now. Thanks for hanging out.